What's the best way to build muscle? Something else we get asked, but less frequently than how to lose weight, is what's the best way to build muscle? And there are various considerations, the most important and beneficial of which we'll cover in a second. But one thing that's worth knowing when you look at people who are most successful at building muscle, like this guy, like professional bodybuilders, like a fairly high proportion of people you see on the cover of health and fitness and bodybuilding type magazines, is that they use steroids and or growth hormone. That's not to take away from the hard work, the effort, the sacrifice, the diet, the intensity in their training, but by their own admission, often they do use steroids as well. A really quick and easy way to check if it's likely that someone's taking steroids is to Google images of natural, drugs tested, Mr. Olympia level bodybuilders and compare the physiques. If, like guys like this, they have considerably, multiple kilos, stones worth more muscle than someone who has been selected by experts to have the best drug tested physique in the whole world, I'm fairly confident I'd be willing to bet my house that they're on steroids. Again, that doesn't take away from their hard work, but it just helps you understand that it's not a fair comparison. It's like comparing someone else being faster than you when they're using a bike and you're just running. If you do want to build lean muscle though, probably the two main things you need to make sure you're doing is getting sufficient protein. And that's not just sufficient in terms of enough so you don't develop some sort of thing due to a deficiency, but a more optimal amount. There are studies that suggest, and this is massively open to debate, but it won't be too far from the truth as a starting figure, that around about 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein per day would be a good starting place. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 200 grams of protein per day. And the second, probably highest return on investment thing is to make sure you have progressive overload in your training. So you're increasing the intensity as you go on through time, not necessarily to make it harder, just to stop it getting easier. So we're doing a challenging, relatively low rep range, maybe 8 to 10-ish at most, version of an exercise, taking it to failure, and over time increasing what you need to do to get that same number of reps or lower. So going heavier or steeper or whatever other way we can progress the intensity. So presuming we're not going to be taking steroids and growth hormone, your two biggest wins are to make sure you get enough protein and to make sure you increase the intensity over time, that you have progressive overload in your training.